everybody. Welcome to another edition of A Chapter a Day Keeps the Doctor Away. My name is Alan, otherwise known as Hisui, and I'm from ReverseTees.com as well as the Speak Easy podcast. And once again, I'm back in the saddle talking about Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. And this time, I'm looking at Chapter 93 in front. And we kind of have two phases to this chapter. We kind of have most of it, which is the front. And that's some good stuff. We finally get to see Yamada and Sarashi's second date, which is a fun little affair. Once again, they're trying to get basically the second book of Yankee-kun to Megane-chan, or their world's equivalent of that series. And along the way, they face a lot of troubles because the store is going to close soon, so they want to get there as quickly as possible. But it seems that they are being stalked by potential vice candidates. And the first one, who is tailing them extremely poorly, which I find funny that Yamada is not the one to spot her. But then again, Yamada is kind of deficient in many areas that Sarashi is competent in. Once again, why they complement each other well. And so she's always paying attention. And she notices that a little booby monster is following them in the form of Midori. So, she basically tries to hide in a trash can quite poorly, making herself pretty much look like Oscar the Grouch. And, they confront her about it, and she basically, Yamada just doesn't want anything to do with this. Kind of doesn't want to tell them because he's not supposed to. Kind of just doesn't want to spend time dealing with this stuff. But she starts to cry and things are said, and eventually he's just like, oh, it's actually probably going to be quicker for me to just tell her and get her out of my face. So he tells her, and she's super happy, and she touches his hand to her boob, which of course makes a little bit of a kerfuffle, but other than being a little miffed for a few seconds about Yamada liking big breasts, which Sarashi has no way, AAA cup here. They kind of quickly get over that. And even the manga mentions, oh, thank goodness that really just didn't, just a little ribbing about that and then nothing more than that. So, and I was a little disappointed that Midori's reason for joining the student council meeting is kind of so very shallow and materialistic. Maybe I was hoping she had grander ambitions on getting into a good college so I can snag myself a good husband at a good company. But, Yamada-kun tends to, flesh out its character, so I'm sure we'll see a little more about her, other than I'm gonna snag myself a man! But, we'll see how that turns out. For right now, we know that's what her deal is. And so, of course, they finally get to the bookstore and there's only one copy of what they have left. And Kurosaki appears and he basically won't let Yamada have a book, and they fight over it, and eventually it comes down to his price being telling him if he is the next vice president as well. And having learned from the last incident, Yamada's just like, yeah, you did it, now get out of here. And we get to see bad boy Kurosaki blush a little bit, which is super cute, and I'm sure Kate will love that part when she gets up to it. And as well as an Assassin's Creed joke, which was a little unexpected but amusing. And so that was pretty fun. I'm kind of curious what his interest in the president is. Is it, is it romantic, or is he just kind of like admire him? I don't know. We'll have to see. But so far he's the little more interesting character, even if certain aspects of Midori make me possibly like her more than I should. But oh, speaking of Midori, that does not have to do with her obvious traits. I did like how in every scene after she was in the garbage can, her clothing and her little bear were all dirty. It's like a minor touch, but it was a nice touch. And so they miss out on getting the book because basically all the fighting with everybody makes it so the bookstore owner just snatches the book out of his hand and closes the store. And so Sarashi does kind of give an interesting little comment about how the president picked him because he needs him. And obviously Yamada is better at dealing with people in situations than he might initially assume. And it seems the president has also picked up on this. And so it seems like another chapter's gone by, and we haven't really learned what the new plot is. And then we see a shogi game of pretty much the two biggest characters who didn't get any real resolution at the end of the last plot. We have Nene's supporter and kind of the old secretary here. And so Ushoi and Asuka, they kind of seemed like, I didn't remember mentioning. I'm a little curious why nothing happened to them. And obviously, with not too subtle at all implication, Asuka's like, or Asuka I should say, is like, we can start over if you wish. And obviously she's talking about the game, but when the shogi piece lands on, the booklet about the 7 wonders of the school and the witches, obviously we know that something more, they're going to be restarting something more. I do have to wonder, now that I think about it, Kurosaki being, Kuro being black and Midori being green, I wonder if all the new witches are going to have color-themed names. That would be interesting. If now all the new... Midori kind of has a green feel to her, and, Kurosaki kind of being this bad boy with his, his hoodie and his kind of a little more rebellish attitude and look. Definitely has a black, if he were a, tokusatsu character to him. So, I'm a little bit curious if there are 5 other witches with color themes. That would be interesting. Maybe this time they'll have color-themed powers. That would be an interesting innovation. But glad to see that we have the beginnings of the new plot thread. That's always good. I enjoyed this break. I'm not saying they have to, like, oh my god, they spent so long. No, this was nice. Even if they had another chapter or two of just kind of relationship stuff and forming the student council, I'd be fine with that. That's all good. I think that a little bit of break and a little bit of, just relationship building and side fluff is good. Or, kind of building side plots. Actually, it's not side fluff, it's building side plots, which is much more important. It adds complexity to the story. It's not a super complicated story, but it adds a little bit of complexity to it. It's not just a one-track story. And so that was all very good. I'm just glad that they've at least shown that, the manga isn't wrapping up. There's going to be some new aspect to it, which I think a lot of people were like a little wondering about. But now we have confirmation that there's going to be more story, more witches. So some kind of restart of the system. I'm not sure that's going to be instantaneous. The next arc might just be how the system restarts, but it's obviously coming. And I'm glad that these two characters haven't been forgotten. They're obviously at the heart of these new witches, so I'll be glad to see what they do. Well, the holiday break is over, so, and I don't have to do a lot of other stuff, so hopefully the schedule will be a little more regular. Other than that, see you guys next time.